Let's talk about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. This team is in a very interesting situation. Their future could be bright, but at the same time, it could be very dim as well. Johnathan Gannon is the brand new head coach of this team, and this season was his first season coaching up this team, and it was very impressive. They did only win 4 games. They went 4-13. But they missed Kyler Murray for majority of the season. He only played 8 games this year because just the season before, he injured his ACL against the New England Patriots on a Monday Night Football game on a non-contact injury. And Kyler Murray came back and he looked very good. He had a great game against the Atlanta Falcons. He willed them to the forefront to get a game-winning field goal in that game. He had a very impressive game against the Steelers as well. Kyler Murray has been a very good quarterback with this team this season, considering with the offensive line play being very inconsistent and how Kyler Murray has looked in the last couple of years. You expect more from Kyler Murray. I will say that, not just from this season, but for the last couple of years when they made the trade to go get DeAndre Hopkins and when they had Cliff Kingsbury being the head coach. But Cliff Kingsbury is a horrible offensive-minded coach. That's just my opinion. I believe that he stunted the growth with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has all the tools to go out there and he could be a top 5 to top 10 quarterback with that skill set. We haven't seen it just yet. The problem is with Kyler Murray, he struggles to stay healthy, and at certain points in times he runs himself into sacks. That's his greatest strength, is the ability to go out there and get outside the pocket and get inside the pocket as well and throw over the head of certain defenders. But at the same time, he'll rush himself into sacks as well. And you look at the offensive line, they're remodeling this thing as we speak. You selected Paris Johnson Jr. in the first round in last year's draft class. And Paris Johnson Jr. has some good moments on the back half of the season, but he allowed 8 sacks on the season and he had 12 penalties as well. He has to play better moving forward, especially at that tackle position, to go out there and help out the Arizona Cardinals and to go out there and help out Kyler Murray as a whole. DJ Humphries was the best tackle with this team. He allowed 4 sacks on the season. He had 9 penalties as well. And he's not a top tackle in the NFL. So they still need to go out there, build up this offensive line, and help out Kyler Murray up front. Because if you give Kyler Murray enough time in the pocket, he can go out there, he can read NFL defenses, and he can get things going into the right direction. In 8 games this season, he had 10 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions, and he also had 3 rushing touchdowns as well. He's one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL, and I expect for Drew Petzing long term to come in and help out this kid. He's the brand new offensive coordinator with this team. He did some good things with Josh Dobbs, and their running game was phenomenal as well. James Conner looked phenomenal this season. He finally had over 1,000 yards rushing for the first time in his NFL career, and he averaged a career best 5 yards a carry while being the lead running back with this team. Now, the offensive line was very up and down in terms of pass protection, but in terms of run blocking, they did a very good job. James Conner is a true #1 running back in the NFL in terms of being a starting bell cow, and he's one of the best power backs in the NFL as well. So they can run the football. And that's one thing I expect for them to do moving forward. They did an excellent job of doing that before Kyler Murray was fully healthy, and they did an excellent job of doing that when Kyler Murray was healthy for those 8 games. Let Kyler Murray go out there, get his legs underneath him, put him in a structured system, make things easy for him on the field. And I think the Arizona Cardinals could be a dangerous team in the next 2 to 3 years. I don't expect for them to be a playoff team next season because you look at the division that they're in, but they have key pieces. I look at the wide receiving core. Marquise Hollywood Brown. The thing is with Hollywood Brown, you trade the first round pick to get this kid. He's a close friend with Kyler Murray off the field. You can keep him around. I actually like Marquise Brown a lot. He had a very good tenure with the Baltimore Ravens in terms of just putting up good production. He had over 1,000 yards receiving with them in one of those years. He did have a lot of drops with the Ravens, and he struggles to stay healthy. He still struggles to stay healthy even with the Arizona Cardinals. But he's coming off a year where he had 574 receiving yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. He's not a true #1 wide receiver. He's a #2 at best, and you can put him inside the slot. I think if you do go out there and you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and you keep Marquise Brown around as well, and you fill in those pieces with Rondale Moore, I think the wide receiving core can be better. But you want to go out there and you want to get a prototypical size wide receiver that's over 6 foot that Kyler Murray can throw the football to and that can get open as soon as you say, just go out there and get open. Right now, they don't have that with these guys. Marquise Brown is a very good speed wide receiver, but he's not a route technician. The same with Rondale Moore. It's not a route technician. You have too many guys on this roster. They're pretty much the same guys. There is not a big difference between the wide receivers with this team. You do have a star tight end in Trey McBride, who did not get a lot of credit this season. 825 receiving yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. And if you would have played him more this season, and if you would have found him more in the back of the red zone in certain games, he would have had over 1,000 yards receiving. This kid is a very good tight end. He can go out there and get open, and he can be a star tight end in the NFL. He is definitely their number one top target right now with this team. Over Rondale Moore, over Marquise Brown, he is their number one target. And if you do draft Marvin Harrison Jr. or you go with a Malik Neighbors, whoever you go with in the NFL draft to pair up with him, those two options could be great with this team long term. So you have a dominant rushing attack, you have a very good tight end, and you have some solid wide receivers with this team. You just need to draft that one wide receiver to take them over the top. And they had that with DeAndre Hopkins a couple of years ago, but Cliff Kingsbury squandered that. That was the time for the Arizona Cardinals to go out there and just make a real playoff push. And they did make the NFL playoffs 1 year with Cliff Kingsbury, but they got dominated by the Los Angeles Rams because he could not make those key in-game adjustments. Johnathan Gannon can do that. We've seen that on the defensive side, and Drew Peston can do that as well. And I look at the defense with the Arizona Cardinals. Even though I'm saying that Johnathan Gannon had a good game plan with these guys, they're going to have to go out there in free agency and make a lot of moves to this defense as well. They need interior lineman help. This team was dead last in rushing defense. Dead last. And one thing that Johnathan Gannon prides himself on is pass rush and getting to the quarterback and stopping the run. Those 3 things. And pass rush is different from just going back there and sacking the quarterback. When he was the defensive coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles, he just wanted guys to go back there, put your hands up, distract the quarterback, force them to throw the football away early, or put them into dangerous situations to where they'll throw interceptions. So they had to rebuild this defense. They played very solid because of the game plan of Johnathan Gannon, but the talent is not there. They need a true number one corner, and they need a guy to go out there and help out B.J. Ojulari as well. B.J. Ojulari had 4 sacks this season, and this is a kid that you selected in last year's draft class from LSU. He is a very good pass rusher. You hope that he can develop over time, but you can go into free agency. You have the 9th most cap space in the NFL. Try to talk to a guy like a Christian Wilkins with the Miami Dolphins. Try to bring him over to this team. The Baltimore Ravens may franchise tag Justin Matabuke, but you can go out there and you could possibly trade for him as well. Just try to go out there and get interior lineman help because this team is going to need it. And if you can't get those 2 top guys, it's going to be other guys in free agency that you could talk to as well that are veterans that can come in and fit the system with Johnathan Gannon. Right now, the Arizona Cardinals are in repair mode. I'm not going to say that they're in just true rebuilding mode because you do have a very good quarterback. You have good pieces on that offensive end, and I think that you have a very good offensive coach in Drew Peston as well. But this defense needs a lot of remodeling. In terms of just fully rebuilding, that means that you would have traded Kyler Murray away for some draft picks. You would have went to a different direction. But when I look at the Arizona Cardinals, the secondary needs work. Their top 2 cornerbacks are not true number 1 and not true number 2 cornerbacks in the NFL. I look at Garrett Williams. He struggled this year. He had some good moments, but he had a lot of bad moments as well. Antonio Hamilton is not a true number 1 corner. You're going to have to go out there and help out the secondary. And the secondary could be helped out a lot more if you go out there and get those defensive linemen up front for Johnathan Gannon. Because we all know a great pass rush can make an average secondary look elite, and a phenomenal pass rush. And if you're just going back there and just winning on all downs, like how the Philadelphia Eagles were doing a year ago, it's going to make a secondary that's particularly weak just look decent. So that's very possible with the Arizona Cardinals. Their linebackers, I think they're very solid with this team. You still have Xavier Collins that's developing with this team. So far, he hasn't been that major hit with this team either. You traded Isaiah Simmons to the New York Giants because you did not know how to use him. And there's too many players on this team that were like that. I think the Arizona Cardinals are heading into a good direction with Johnathan Gannon. Yes, they only won 4 games this season. But if Kyler Murray can stay healthy, and that's a huge if with Kyler Murray, because in the last couple of years, he's missed games due to ankle injuries, due to knee injuries, and shoulder injuries as well. But if they can keep him upright and he can stay fully healthy, I think that Kyler Murray could be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. We haven't seen that just yet. He did have one great year when they made the NFL playoffs with DeAndre Hopkins. He has a very special skill set, but you're putting him in structure right now. With Johnathan Gannon and Drew Petzing, the sky could be the limit with the Arizona Cardinals. The one thing that makes me very uncomfortable about this team, you're in a hell of a division. You're in a division with the Seattle Seahawks, who are a very good football team. The San Francisco 49ers, who just went to the Super Bowl, and they have a great pass rush as well with Chase Young and Nick Bosa. They can come after and they can get Kyler Murray. And you also have the Los Angeles Rams as well in this division. So it's a tough division. If they were in any other division, I would say go out there, give these guys a lot of credit moving forward, and they could be a special team. But even if they do rebuild the roster in a very good way, it's going to be tough to make it out that division. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the Arizona Cardinals, and are they headed into the right direction? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.